Hello, everyone. If you've landed here, you've landed on Let's Talk News. I'm your host, Leticia Romero, and we're having chair issues again today. That will go on for a little while because my chair's not here yet. How is everybody today? Trump is in Davos. So much is going on. Life is wonderful. Seems like we have NATO has stepped in and negotiated negotiated a deal, and we are going to have access to Greenland in a way that is meaningful. And in a way that will protect America. So once again, President Trump does it. Hello, John Cooper. Trump administration is claiming that you can have your 3 meals a day and a snack for 15 and change. Try it. Maybe you could get a job as a paid professional protester. Huh? Well, I know that I spent $60 to feed a family of 4 for 4 nights, and one of those nights was prime rib. So you probably could. The difference is that if you cook, you could stretch your dollar. Hello, Francine. Good to have you. And Karen, how are you, Karen? Good to have you. Santillion is here. Aloha. How'd legislative day in Hawaii go? I'm interested. Hello, Kevin Young. Good to have you. So it's just been a banner day for Trump and for Republicans. Hello, Andrew Dorman. Davos is actually talking about security and economics and things that actually matter to the world. Affordability. Hello, Kevin Wall. How are you this lovely afternoon in your part of the world? And our OG, Lucille Chavon, good to have you. So I thought I'd start out. Did everybody see clips of what went on in Davos? If not, I know that the show is about 2026 and the midterms, but I thought that I'd start out with Davos and we could hear what Trump had to say. Oh, I miss my mom. Hello, Mama. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. I love doing things for my mother. My mother doesn't make it easy to do things for her, though. My mother likes to give me a hard time. We went to the dentist today. It was not fun. She does not like the dentist. I do not blame her, but it's got to be done. All right. So anyway, let's watch Trump in Davos.
I have tremendous respect for both the people of Greenland and the people of Denmark. Tremendous respect. But every NATO ally has an obligation to be able to defend their own territory. And the fact is, no nation or group of nations is in any position to be able to secure Greenland other than the United States. We're a great power, much greater than people even understand. I think they found that out 2 weeks ago in Venezuela. We saw this in World War II when Denmark fell to Germany after just 6 hours of fighting and was totally unable to defend either itself or Greenland. So the United States was then compelled, we did it, we felt an obligation to do it, to send our own forces to hold the Greenland territory, and hold it we did at great cost and expense. They didn't have a chance of getting on it, and they tried. Denmark knows that. We literally set up bases on Greenland for Denmark. We fought for Denmark. We weren't fighting for anyone else. We were fighting to save it for Denmark. Big, beautiful piece of ice. It's hard to call it land. It's a big piece of ice. But we saved Greenland and successfully prevented our enemies from gaining a foothold in our hemisphere. So we did it for ourselves also. And then after the war, which we won it big. Without us, right now you'd all be speaking German and a little Japanese, perhaps. After the war, we gave Greenland back to Denmark. How stupid were we to do that? But we did it. But we gave it back. But how ungrateful are they now? So now our country and the world face much greater risks than it did ever before because of missiles, because of nuclear, because of weapons of warfare that I can't even talk about. 2 weeks ago, they saw weapons that nobody ever heard of. They weren't able to fire one shot at us. They said, what happened? Everything was discombobulated. They said, we've got them in our sights. Press the trigger, and nothing happened. No anti-aircraft missiles went up. There was one that went up about 30 feet and crashed down right next to the people that sent it. They said, what the hell is going on? Those defensive systems were made by Russia and by China. So they're going to go back to the drawing boards, I guess. Greenland is a vast, almost entirely uninhabited and undeveloped territory. It's sitting undefended in a key strategic location between the United States, Russia, and China. That's exactly where it is, right smack in the middle. Wasn't important nearly when we gave it back. You know, when we gave it back, it wasn't the same as it is now. It's not important for any other reason, you know, everyone talks about the minerals. There's so many places. There's no rare earth, no such thing as rare earth. There's rare processing, but there's so much rare earth. And to get to this rare earth, you got to go through hundreds of feet of ice. That's not the reason we need it. We need it for strategic national security and international security. This enormous unsecured island is actually part of North America, on the northern frontier of the Western Hemisphere. That's our territory. It is therefore a core national security interest of the United States of America. And in fact, it's been our policy for hundreds of years to prevent outside threats from entering our hemisphere, and we've done it very successfully. We've never been stronger than we are now. That's why American presidents have sought to purchase Greenland for nearly 2 centuries.
So just before coming on, Rutte stated that Mark Rutte, Secretary of NATO, that they negotiated, and Trump also confirmed that we negotiated successfully with Denmark for Greenland and for the use of certain areas in Greenland that Trump sees is necessary. So I don't know what it looks like. I don't think anybody does. I think that the ins and outs of the deal are still going to get hammered out. But it was successful. It was a good speech. It was successful. And Hakeem Jeffries had the nerve to say that our president was embarrassing America on the world stage today. And it's just amazing to me that he could say such a thing when this is the guy that he supported. I mean, do you remember Biden wandering off during one of the world summits that he attended, and Maloney had to go and fetch him so that he didn't look like an asshole? And do you remember when he saluted her after she gave him instructions about what had to happen, like he was some sort of Cub Scouts? Why have you decided to prove Ukraine's use of long? He just wandered into the jungle. Yeah, but that's not embarrassing, right? Hakeem Jeffries seems to think that is the epitome of a leader, and somehow Trump isn't, which is a big problem all in all for everybody. Hello, Angela Ricca. Thanks for joining us. I just got home from our open legislation at the Capitol in Honolulu. Meet and greet. Sent up my proposals. Governor Green and I bumped into each other. He was shocked and remembered me. I made sure he gave me A firm handshake. Well, good for you, Santilli. Good for you. Hello, Mickey Petrides. I am wonderful. How are you? How is mom? I hope everybody at home is good. Greenland wants to be their own country. No offense. They do want to be their own country, but they don't have the ability to defend themselves, Andrew. If you're your own country without defenses, then what? We've been there since World War II. Paying from our pocket to defend them. We actually, when the Germans, let me see if I get this right. I think I do. The Germans captured it. We fought for it and occupied it. The Germans regressed, and they considered America, I don't want to say neutral because that's incorrect. But anyway, somewhere around World War II, we took it. And then we gave it back to Denmark. We took it for Denmark and we gave it back to them. And they asked us if we could stay and defend it. And we did. And we've been defending it all this time at taxpayer expense. That's what people mean when they say, America can't be the world police. We've been paying, the money that we pay to the federal government and our tax dollars goes to make sure that Greenland is defended. Now, if we pull out and say, okay, Greenland, be your own country, and that's especially the concern, right? Because if Greenland is its own country, then who's going to defend it? Not Denmark. Who's going to defend it? There's 56,000 people on that island. There's not enough. They don't make enough money. They don't do enough. There's nothing for them to do. There's no GDP. So who's going to defend it? And if nobody defends it, do we believe that Russia or China is going to take it? Abso-fucking-lutely. So no, we've been defending it all this time. We should have dibs, and we should, be occupying it, or at least having a say at what goes on there. Okay, great, Mickey, and good to know. Good to know. I believe that every country should take care of its own, but every country can't take care of its own. Every country, that's why they get conquered. Because if you don't have a military, then how do you take care of your own? If you don't have a product and export, if you can't, Greenland is ice. Where are they going to get food? I mean, they could fish, but how about all the other stuff you need? Where are they getting medical attention? Where are they getting medicine? Greenland can't survive on its own. It just can't. And it's too important strategically to give up to themselves if they can't support themselves and they can't defend themselves. Hakeem is an idiot. Yes, he is. I love it. Oh, thank you. It is so dirty. Somebody said it looks like a wig. It's my hair. It's just up in a ponytail. See, and I do that, and it's dirty. And when I put it up in a ponytail, it looks like I cut it short. So it's fun. I mean, at least I could do it. It's either the hat or my hair up this way. So I'll wash it tomorrow. It'll be better. I have to dye it too. It's getting very gray. Anyway, you don't care about me dyeing my hair. So let's talk about the midterm elections, because there's stuff in the midterm elections, and I'm going to show you stuff from NBC. And before you all go crazy and tell me NBC and their polls and they're no good, yes, I know, but I take NBC because I believe if you want to be prepared, you need to take the worst of the worst. Remember 2018, the blue wave, it's going to be the red wave, it's going to be a tidal wave. We got our asses handed to us. Can't happen again. How would Greenland be with our protection as an independent nation? If we are protecting Greenland, now what does Greenland give us in return? Nothing. We've been doing it for Denmark because they're a NATO ally. So we've been paying out all this time because also it's where it's positioned, it's strategically, we need it. I mean, at the time that we were doing it, you didn't have missiles that could travel as far as they could travel. So there was no real threat. And also the earth looked a little different back then, right? There wasn't shipping channels that there are now, but now there are, and you can get fighter boats in there, or ships. So yeah, we got nothing in return, Andrew, except for we kept a base there. We actually had many bases there, and over time the Democrats closed them. We need those many bases back. Trump 1 year already. Yeah, 1 year yesterday, Mom. 1 year yesterday. All right. So anyway, this is NBC, and this is July. I want you to remember this. This is July of this year. And this is a poll talking about what could happen in Congress, even though we had a slim majority. This was before a lot of people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and others left.
National political correspondent Steve Kornacki is at the big board. So, Steve, break down what makes 2026 different than 2018.
Yeah, it's really interesting, Ryan, because when you look at the bottom line numbers, that's what you have on the screen right now, the balance of power in the House for vacancies. Essentially, if these vacancies were filled, it would probably be 220 Republican seats, 215 Democratic seats. As thin a majority as you could get for Republicans. That means if Republicans take that majority into the midterms next year, they can afford a net loss of no more than 2 seats. And you know the history of midterms. The White House party almost always loses seats. You mentioned 2018 when Republicans lost 40 seats in Donald Trump's first midterm. So how could he actually be in a position where we're talking about the House being in play next year, at least potentially? Well, it's because the makeup of that Republican majority that got decimated in 2018 is very different from the makeup of the Republican majority right now. And that's what we want to show you right here. Republicans in 2018 were exposed all over the place. Check this out here. Republicans in 2018 in districts that had been carried by Hillary Clinton in the 2016 presidential election, anti-Trump districts, there were 25 of them in the 2018 midterms. There are only 3 Republicans right now representing districts that Donald Trump didn't carry in the last presidential election. How about the next rung here? Call these sort of marginally pro-Trump districts. These are districts that Trump won by less than 7.5 points. There were 23 of these in 2018 midterms. There's almost a similar number now, 19, not quite as high. But we're highlighting these two groups because this is where Republicans suffered almost all of their damage in the 2018 midterms. Of those 25 from anti-Trump districts in 2018, Republicans lost 22 of those seats. Of the 23 that were marginally pro-Trump, Republicans lost 2/3 of them. You can't see it because of the red on red there, but 15 of the 23, 22 and 15. 37 losses of seats by Republicans in these two categories in 2018. That's almost all of the losses that they suffered. It was a 40-seat defeat for them. And you can see right now, again, only 3 in anti-Trump districts and a slightly smaller number, 19 in those marginally pro-Trump districts. You could play this out and look at the other types of districts here. There were a couple of upsets in 2018 of Republicans in solidly pro-Trump districts, and then there were no Republican losses in this category, the Trump landslide districts in 2018. And look, the Republicans have fewer overall seats now, but there are more Republicans in truly safe Trump landslide districts. So if you're looking ahead to 2026 and what Republicans are trying to pull off right here, it would essentially be, look, can you really severely limit your loss in these two categories? This is where the damage was done in 18. If Republicans could hold the losses here to somewhere in, say, the mid-high single digits, that's where this topic now that's starting to get some attention of redistricting could come into play. Republicans in 2 states in particular, Ohio and Texas, poised, it would appear, to do mid-decade redistricting here ahead of next year's congressional elections, midterm elections. And what could that mean? We'll take a look in Texas right now. The current House balance from the Texas delegation is 25-13 for the Republicans, and the current balance in Ohio is 10-5 for the Republicans. Now, the estimates vary. We don't know what Republicans are going to end up doing, all the sort of caveats you want on that, but 25-13 could, Dave Wasserman from Cook Political Report, who knows this stuff well, said they could maximally get to 30-8 for Republicans, depending on how they do the math. 10-5 at its a peak for Republicans. They could potentially redraw this to make it 13-2. So what would that be? That would be a gain, if both of those things happened, of 8 seats for Republicans. So think about that. If they were able to get something in that ballpark out of Texas and out of Ohio, and you went back to what we just showed you right here, if they limit the damage here and offset it with Texas and Ohio, they could actually be in the game to hold on to their majority. Now, this.
Okay. So did everybody understand what was going on there? Now, that was in July. So remember that I'm sure Gavin Newsom saw this news report, and that's when he hopped on and said, okay, we've got to do something in California. And now it looks like all of, I think Ohio did not approve it. No, it was Indiana that didn't approve it. We know Texas approved it, legislature approved it, and California. So now that cancels each other out. And that's a problem for us because we need to have the momentum going in to, it has to happen, kind of before even the summer. People have to start seeing their pocketbooks feeling good before even the summer. And now at that point, there was only 4, right? Open seats. Now there's like 50, both Republicans and Democrats leaving office. So there's a lot of chaos that's going to go on between now and the midterms. And that's why we have to do our part to help every Republican, every new Republican that's running. Okay, so Santillian says he has a unique opportunity here in Honolulu, being able to talk face to face with his elected officials, and somebody wants to endorse him for the open board seat. Well, that's good. Republican Party of Hawaii is a paid opposition. I was elected district chairman in the party here. Corruption, totally. Corruption's not good. Hi, Sal. Good to have you. Thanks for joining us. The problem with midterms is that Republicans do not get off their asses to vote. We become apathetic unless it's the general election. We need to work the midterms like our lives depend on it. If we lose the House or Senate, Trump will get nothing done. Carol, that is 100% true. So we have to do our best. We have to give, even if it's $10, to Republican candidates across the country. So, and we saw what happened in November, right? November, not saying that any of the seats were not seats we were supposed to lose, but Louisiana, we should not have lost the legislature. They should not have picked up seats in Louisiana in the legislature. Sorry, we didn't lose it. We just picked up seats. And Virginia, we lost the legislature. And now you see what's happening in Virginia. They're raising taxes all over the place. Hopefully that will be their own throat cutting, but maybe not. All right, so quickly, this is a short clip. This is November before Election Day. Look at what went on here in November, okay, after the shutdown. Very important that we remember that because we have another potential shutdown coming up now.
What we find is a mood that has soured on Trump and the Republican Party in that time. An approval rating of 43% now in our new poll for Donald Trump. But check out our previous poll. This was back in March. 47-51. He was starting out now well into his first year of the second term, down to a 43% job approval rating for President Trump. This, of course, coming against the backdrop of the government shutdown. We asked the question, who do you blame? 42% say Democrats in Congress, but 52% said it's either the president's fault or his party in Congress's fault.
This is striking, Steve, because here we are a month into this shutdown now, and more Americans still pointing the finger at Republicans for this.
Certainly seems like it could be related to some of the numbers we're seeing here.
Yeah.
Now, check this out. Talk about Trump and his job performance on particular issues. Again, basically a year ago, he was elected. We asked folks, do you think he's delivering here? He does get decent marks when it comes to border security and immigration. Slight majority say he has lived up to what he promised to do there. But on none of these other topics do you see that number getting past the mid-40s. In fact, the low 30s down here on the economy questions.
Well, and part of why President Trump was elected on the economy now now it seems like it could be a headwind heading into Tuesday for Republicans.
And a huge shift, obviously, from his first term, too, when he actually did get good marks there. So you talk about heading into this Tuesday. We asked folks about their enthusiasm for the midterm elections. That'll be next year, 2026. But this was astounding. 66%, two-thirds of all voters have a high level of interest. We will find that number typically on the eve of the actual midterm election. This is a year out. And this is what's encouraging for Democrats, troubling for Republicans. More enthusiasm for Democrats. That high level of interest, it's about 3/4 of Democrats. It is a little bit lower there for Republicans. And that could feed into the second part of this equation. And that is, we asked folks, midterm election, which party would you want to control Congress? And the Democrats have now, in our poll, this is significant, opened up an 8-point advantage over Republicans. We checked this back in the spring. It was dead even. That 8-point level is typically what you would find for a party that's poised for a big midterm election. That's the kind of lead Democrats had when they swept to power in Congress in Trump's first term. So we'll see if that holds now.
Okay. Now, so I've been getting my ass beat by when I on like TikTok and others from Republicans saying that I should not pull out of Minneapolis and just concentrate on the states that cooperate with us. The reason I said it was because the only place that we were flush, the only place that Trump was actually gaining points was on border security. And now with all of the protests in the streets, it's making it look like chaos. And since the girl since Renee Good got shot, he's underwater in border security and immigration too. So they know this. These are polls. People are telling me, oh, polls don't matter. Polls always matter. They may not always be correct, but you can get your finger on the pulse by understanding the polls. So what do we do about it? We've got to, with everything that we have to look for good, decent candidates, Republican candidates, to run in these open seats. There's a lot of open seats going on, and we have to support them with money because there's no way, with Hollywood on the Democrat side and with all of the Chinese money coming in and the foreign money coming in to the Democrats, there's no way we can match them dollar for dollar. Well, Kamala, what you raised $2 billion and she wound up in debt. It's a problem. And, Alex Soros is in Davos right now with the Democrat congressman, I forget his name. The head of the economic committee for the Democrats. That's a problem. It is a problem. We will never be able to match them for money. So we have to match them for talent. And Trump has to pave the way. So success in Venezuela, success in Greenland. Okay. Forget Ukraine and Russia. There's nothing you can do about that. Get out of that. It's not your monkey. It's not your circus. Success in Israel. That's fantastic. Success in the Middle East. That's fantastic. Wipe out Iran. Get that regime change going. Support however you can support. Now it's time to come back home and drive down those prices. Get rid of what's his face, Jerome Powell. I think he goes in May. Get those interest rates down. The gas prices are fluctuating. There was a big bump in gas I saw today. I don't know what that's about. Get that back down. It's probably something to do with Iran and the Middle East. But when I say big, it was 20%, 20 cents a gallon hike by me. Just out of nowhere. I know that certain days of the week you get those bumps and then they go back, it goes back down. But that was stunning to me. Get the food prices down, get people in their houses, get loans out there, and let April 15th come and people get big tax refunds because of the no new tax stuff. Because if these Democrats close the government again in January, no matter what, they'll always blame the Republicans. They just will. So our job, support the Republican candidates and get the message out. Use your social media. Don't just be a voyeur. Repeat, post, repost, do all of that stuff. I know I talked a lot today, but I had a bump last week, came down here today. Okay. So I don't know what's going on there with gas. All right, guys. So that's the story with the midterms. Keep your eye on it and don't poo-poo the polls. We want the worst polls for us so that we can know how much we have to work. Okay, I will see you all tomorrow night. Thanks for watching, and let's see what else happens in Davos. I have a few peeps running from both parties in my districts, some for re-elections. They won't get any votes unless they go through me. We need things fixed in our district. Well, I hope you can get it done, Santelli, and I really do. Okay, be good. See you tomorrow, guys.